That's the Good Things. I'm your host, Rebecca Turner. Now, don't forget, you can listen to Good Things. We are streaming live over at SuperTalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But don't forget about watching us, which you can do on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. Now, if you listened to Good Things 6 months ago, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but we told you that the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services, they were opening their first Emerge Center in Long Beach. Well, it's been 6 months in the making. Miss Dorothy Young with the Emerge Center is back to tell us how it's been going and catch us up. So welcome back, Dorothy.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I assume everybody listening was listening on that day 6 months ago, Dorothy. But just in case there was somebody who had the day off from work that day, let's talk about what the Emerge Center is and kind of what you all's vision was for it 6 months ago. Well, I guess it was longer in the making, but still, when it opened.
Yes, so thank you for, first and foremost, Rebecca, for having our agency. And my executive director is Mr. Billy Taylor, and he and myself, Chris Howard, a couple of years ago, decided to establish a second community rehab program in our state for our fellow Mississippians living with blindness and or vision impairments. Before that time, we were sending our clients out of state for this type of training. Currently, we have one personal adjustment training center, and these community rehab programs is a vocational rehab service that leads folks into competitive integrative employment. We have one, and that's located in our Addie McBride Center at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. It's been there for over 50 years. They do a fabulous job, serve over 100 Mississippians all across the state. But for this type of training, which we call structured discovery training, you would have to leave the state. Our Mississippians had to travel to Minnesota, possibly Baltimore, Louisiana to receive this training. And we just felt the need and common sense have it offered in our state.
And so what's different about this training? Why would folks be willing to pack up, Dorothy, and move to different states away for this very specific kind of training?
The main focus of this training is confidence building for individuals that's living with blindness or dealing with some vision impairment that would lead to blindness. And so what it does differently from our Addie McBride is what we call traditional training. Traditional training is where they teach you how to use the vision that you have with maybe a dependent person being there, sighted guide techniques and different things, using someone else. This training, the day one that you come in and be accepted, you're going to be under sleep shades. You're going to become blind.
Regardless of your ability of sight.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Rebecca. And so this training is basically teaching you how to be confident in living blind, doing your normal task every day, getting up, matching your clothes, making up your bed, cooking meals, arranging transportation to get back and forth to work. All of that's done under sleep shades and what we call putting you to be blind.
So then you leave and you are more confident. You do feel more like self-reliant to be able to get a job or to go out and do these sort of things and continue your life. So you can see where that's a very useful training, also very scary. And I wouldn't want to go states away for that if I had to do that. Okay, so 6 months ago, you guys had a ribbon cutting of sorts and opened it up. So what's been going on for the last 6 months?
And this is why we're here today. For the last 6 months, when we opened those doors, and after that ribbon cutting, we had a waiting list of Mississippians that wanted this training. So I began and went through that waiting list. And since that inception of us opening those doors, we've trained over 14 Mississippians in our state.
How long does the training take?
It depends. We tell people, so that, as you said, I don't want to scare them because you're going to be on the sleep shades. We tell people anywhere from 6 to 9 months. Okay. Usually in the past, when I was a counselor for the blind at the agency, our clients would stay away from home for about a year. Because you got to get that adjusting period of using those sleep shades, that adjusting period of you being able to come out of that apartment on your own with a cane to walk down that sidewalk or get in that cab or that Uber without anyone's help. So we tell people reality 6 to 9 months. That's what the book will tell you, the theory will tell you. But I'm telling you, from when I was a counselor and my clients, it was 1 year of training. But I could see probably about maybe 3 months ago, I start seeing the fruition of this training center with our clients. When I go to the training center, I could witness how the client first started was afraid to come out of their apartments on their own, are afraid to walk the streets in Long Beach on their own with a cane because the traffic is coming. And then I see them growing. And I called Billy. I said, Billy, you would not believe this. I saw our clients headed out the door under sleep shades with their cane, and they just went to the bank to make a deposit on their own in Long Beach. Traffic is backed up in Long Beach, but the clients are walking with head up, because that's what we teach them. Head up, shoulders back, cane out in the front. And they was heading down the highway in Long Beach and made a bank deposit.
Not on the highway, on the sidewalk, right?
Well, we don't have any sidewalks.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's another little scary issue. But the mayor there in Long Beach and the different elected officials, they have promised me that they're looking to bring in sidewalks.
Okay, yes.
And different things like that. But I'm going to tell you, Rebecca, because we have established this training center in Long Beach, and they see the need for sidewalks. You have older people that may be using wheelchairs or using walkers. They'll start coming out of their homes also to the training center for day training. And so they see a wider spread of need, just not for individuals who are blind or visually impaired need sidewalks, but our older folks need sidewalks. Other disabilities also will benefit from the sidewalks. So this training center has opened up the doors for other disabilities to make sure that they have access also in our great state.
How many is on your waiting list, Dorothy, to
Right
get into
now
the
I have
Merge
12
Center?
that's still currently waiting.
What are the age ranges of the 14 that have?
Well, we start serving individuals at age 16 on vocational rehab for the program. But right now, the ages range from 22 to probably 60. Oh, no, I take that back. One of my oldest clients there, she was like 80 years old.
What that means to her to finally have that freedom, but also what it would mean to a 16-year-old who's just been dealt the cards that they've been dealt, to receive that self-confidence at 16, and how the next 6 decades of their life will look a little different.
And they don't have to leave the state.
And they don't have to leave the state.
They don't have to leave the state. I tell my executive, Billy Taylor, I said, this establishing this training center, although we know that it's changed lives in our great state for individuals who are blind and visually impaired, it also showed that our state can come together and collaborate. We have showed that we all can work in synergy together, and we all know what makes good common sense for our workforce, and that's what we came together and have established. So this 6-month progress, and Jennifer, our communications director, is the one who named it the 6-month progress. So kudos to Jennifer Gray, our communications director. 6 months is just to say to our state, this is what we've done since you all backed our agency.
Yeah.
To establish this training center, because we had letters of support from probably every state agency, Jackson State University, our Mississippi State University, our colleges that said that they supported this state, supported us in establishing this in our state. This is just us to say thank you. And here's what we've done. 14 Mississippians did not have to leave our state to receive
And y'all going to
competitive
celebrate
training.
that. How are you going to celebrate it?
Well, our communications director, who I just said, Jennifer Gray, she is playing this wonderful agenda, but it's going to be a little different from when we first had our grand opening. This is going to be client-led. The clients that are receiving, currently still in training, they will be there. They're going to be your MC. They're going to be. They have worked really to structure this agenda for the 6-month progress. They're going to give their testimony to the public of saying where they come from and why, and it's because of this training. They may even cook a little meal too.
That's awesome. When is this, Dorothy?
It's going to be Friday and on the beautiful Gulf Coast at our beautiful training center there in Long Beach. It's going to start at 11 o'clock. And we encourage everyone, if you have nothing to do, come on down to the Mississippi Gulf Coast and meet me there at 11 o'clock with my executive director and the rest of the community.
So are these 14 going to stay in the program for a little while longer, or are they kind of at graduation point?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that, Rebecca. One has graduated already.
Whoop, whoop.
Right, and so she'll come back, and even though we had a little small ceremony for her, it is a huge accomplishment for her, and so she got her independence at the level that she needed to be. She lives on her own. and in assisted living on our own, and is losing her vision. And so we're going to thank her, and we're going to hear from her and her counselor that referred her to the center. So we have one that graduated, and then the other 4 who's living there, because of what I did not mention is it's totally different from our Eddie McBride Center, is because at the Eddie McBride Center on the campus of UMC.
Hang on, Dorothy. We got more with Dorothy coming up next. FM. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app. We hope you have downloaded that. You can always find us, too, on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And don't forget to watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And don't forget, too, you can get just about every SuperTalk Mississippi show on your favorite podcast app. So if you like a podcast, then just look for SuperTalk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen, and click the subscribe button. We're continuing our conversation with this Dorothy Young. She may be one of the most passionate people I have ever seen about her work with the Emerge Center with the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services. You guys are celebrating 6 months, but really, how many years, Dorothy, is this 6-month celebration in the making for you?
Let me take a deep breath with that. About 2.5 years of trying to get this approved through Rehabilitation Services Administration, RSA. That's our federal partner that sends us the money for our vocational rehab grant here in Mississippi. So about 2.5 years.
How long have you been working on behalf of those visually impaired?
Oh, then 24 years. I've been working 24 years with the agency. And I started out as an intern with the Department of Rehab Services, and immediately following my internship, I became a counselor for the blind. And I had Madison County, Warren County, Claiborne County, and any client that had any issues with another counselor, they would refer them to me. And during that time, we had a closure goal of having so many individuals blind employed. And every year I met my goal, exceeded with me and another guy by the name, and he's my best friend, David Green. Kudos to David Green because he did mentor me. He and I will be the number 1 in the state for closures, for making sure that our clients had good employment careers. And so then after that, I became director of Project START, the Technology Act grant. And in that capacity, I was responsible for writing the state's first state plan for the Technology Act program. And that produced changing school teachers' lives, students' lives that was living with disability for assistive technology. And we trained over 3,000 teachers across our great state on assistive technology. We wrote the first computer refurbishment program for the state. We partnership with Jackson State University, and we gave out computers, no charge to any person with a disability through our agency. And then I became the director of the Office of Vocational Rehab for the Blind. So my daughter is 24, and it's been 24 years.
And she's gotten to see her mama show, like school-wise, what advocacy looks like for textbook,
yes.
right?
Oh, yes.
And what a little bit of effort can go a long way when you have a passion, but also showing us, Dorothy, what just a little bit of advocacy and education for those with different abilities, how that can lead to a better well-being for their overall life. So with those that are visually impaired, with just a little bit of education or just a little bit of training, how much does that mean in terms of a ripple effect for them in terms of their overall well-being in life or daily function?
Well, I will tell you, with our federal law, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, and there they have where we have to, our agency, Vocational Rehab and Vocational Rehab for the Blind, those 2 programs that fall up under WIOA, tells us that we are supposed to be making sure people with disabilities who receive services from our agency leave with training, better wages, better credentials, right? So what we've done is from 2013, and that's when I became the director of vocational rehab for the blind, I kept a track record of wages, of the increases of wages. And it goes right back. I see an increase in wages, Rebecca, and it's all due to because that person either got a training or a credential, a recognized credential that helped when they got that employment. So right now, I would tell you that we served over 1,600 in our state. 308 of those we put back into competitive integrative employment. And out of those that we put back in competitive integrative employment, half of those received some type of training or credential that gave that increase in wages. The key is for any individual out there, if you that's listening out there right now, if you know of anyone and they're going through to their ophthalmologists or optometrists and they have been told that they're losing their vision, or they have been told that they have diabetic retinopathy or any type of vision impairment, and those fellow Mississippians are trying to work, refer them to us. And we can provide this type of training to make sure that they have the independence to continue to work that job.
It's sooner that they get the training that's there at the Emerge Center, which is the new training you guys have in Long Beach, the better off they are, even if they still have, decent sight at the moment.
Yes, because the key to that training is confidence building. If someone is losing their vision, they're not going to be confident to go out to work or to do something innovative on that job that they would normally be able to do because they would have vision to see to be able to do it. So we just teach you alternative methods on the same skills the person has. Like, we're not teaching someone how to cook, right? They already come to us knowing how to cook. But what we're teaching them is an alternative method to be able to cook, maybe labeling the drawers, the countertops in their kitchen, labeling the stove in their kitchen it could be bump dot. It may not have to be Braille, but you can bump dot your kitchen, your stove, your microwave. There are all types of apps that we teach, and even the older blind person that came there who was 80-some years old, we taught her how to use her iPhone with different apps. Be My Eyes. You can have an app on your phone called Be My Eyes, Rebecca, and you can pull up that app and it'll read everything in the room to you.
Wow.
Yeah, and
so that at 40.
Yeah, right. So we teach you alternative methods on the skills that the person already has to be independent. True independence is what we call it. So what I was saying before we went to break is at the Eddie McBride Center, we have dorms there on the second floor there at the center. No one knows that in the state, right? But there are dorms that the clients go and they live there on the second floor at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. And we teach you your independent skill, personal adjustment training skills. But at the Long Beach New Training Center, there are no dorms. We have apartments that we lease there. So everyone has their own apartment. 9 times out of 10, they'll have a roommate, but they get up and they have to do their laundry in their apartment just like they were living at home. So we're not having to retrain you. Once you leave the center every day at 5 o'clock, because we have it set up just like you were going to work, 8 to 5. All the clients come in at 8 to 5 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. They can either walk to the training center because we've taught them how to do the orientation and mobility there, the different routes to get to the training center, or we have a spot to where we have a driver that would pick up the clients. But
how many trainers do y'all have, Dorothy?
We have 4 instructors. 4 instructors, because this training, I based it down to 4 instructional areas that research have told us that these are the main areas that any person that's living with vision or blindness, this is what you need. You're going to need Braille because that's our literacy. And Braille is what the person would see if you were reading this document here. You would use your eyes. Well, if you're blind or low vision, you're going to have a Braille document, and those documents are what we call dots on there. We teach you that. And then we teach you technology, and then we teach you home management, and that home management is cooking, washing your clothing, making up the bed, identifying your clothes. All of that care of your home is in home management class. And then the next class, and the most important class, is orientation and mobility. That's you being blind, using that long white cane, getting from point A to point B.
And that's your well-being.
That's your well-being
to be able to do that. Ms. Dorothy, I know y'all are celebrating this coming up Friday. Is it correct? For your 6 months. But looking ahead, what's next for Ms. Dorothy? Just getting more people through this, getting more Emerge centers throughout the state?
Well, I will tell you that since it's not very many state agencies that the federal government allowed to have 2 training centers in the state, right? So Mississippi being, I think we may be the 3rd state that has been allowed to have this. We have potential clients from all over the country that wants to come to our training center.
That's incredible.
Because you don't have many training centers of this type across the country. So I'm trying to get it to where we can focus more so on just having our Mississippians train first, but also opening the door to other clients all across our great country that need this training too. So it's going to be a huge economic impact, and it's also going to be a huge workforce impact, because part of this training, and I did not mention, is while they're there at the training center, they're also going to be on internships.
So they're working.
They're going to be working.
Yeah. So if people want to learn more about this, Dorothy, where do they go?
They can go to our website, www.mdrs.ms.gov, or they can call our 1-800 number, 1-800-443-1000, and just ask for Dorothy Young, or you can even ask for the Office of Vocational Rehab for the Blind, and they'll transfer you.
I know your wonderful marketing lady is going to have a great 1-year anniversary for the Emerge Center, so you'll have to come back and bring one of your graduates with you. How about that?
That is a wonderful, and I was going to tell you, Rebecca, if you don't have anything to do, y'all come on down.
Well, we'll have to definitely make time to come do it. You are doing the Lord's work, Dorothy. I appreciate your time and everything happening there at MDRS and the Emerge Center. So thank you for your time. You guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.